Well, Monica Frazzoni is the co-chair of the European Green Party. She joins us now from Brussels. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us. So clearly it was a positive night for Green parties. What can we expect from this bloc within the European Parliament? Will there be a strict focus on the environment and climate change, or will they seek to play a broader role?
We always had a broader role. Good evening, first of all. Our major victories in the last legislation were concerning issues, of course, of climate and energy and environment, but also rights with the events around the Hungary vote about Hungary, or the privacy new regulation. So I would say that we will go along our three priorities, which is, of course, climate change, which has to do with economy, democracy and rights for all in Europe. So I think that the three issues are very much connected, and this is where we are going to try to have an even bigger mark than what we had in the past.
But I suppose this is kind of a watershed moment, isn't it, for the movement on the whole? This is the first time that you could be a real force within the European Parliament. And the interesting thing is that the European Green Party is made up of more than 30 national parties. Will they be able to align their views on key issues that are priorities for the European Parliament, issues like trade, the economy, digital taxation?
Well, you know, one of the reasons why we have a European Green Party is exactly to do what you just said. And this has been our effort over the past years. I think that one of the most important things that I can say about the Greens over the past, but one of the reasons why we are somehow collecting our efforts tonight or yesterday is exactly because even if we are not a huge political force, we are really able to be united on a few issues, and we win because we're able to gather majorities. So I think that this kind of unity will be our greatest patrimonium also over the next negotiations, which I trust are not going to be very, very easy, but on which we have certain priorities that hopefully would be respected, also because we are not alone in this. The so-called green wave has been very much pushed by young people in the streets, but also the vote of young people. So I believe that other parties will be somehow contaminated by this kind of effort, also because we have very little time to reverse the trend and be able to fight climate change. So I think that not only the votes, but the time are on our side.
And of course, as we were saying, the green wave definitely was there in mainly northern and western Europe, but we didn't see much of an impact in some of the newer EU countries in Central and Eastern Europe, and also the movement failed to make inroads in other countries like Italy, for example. How do you explain the success in some areas and then obviously the weakness in other parts of the region?
Well, I think that we have some kind of paradox. Italy, for example, my own country, is the place where the mobilization of young students was the biggest in the world on the 15th of March. I think that there are two questions. One is the offer. Perhaps we were not strong enough or good enough to take and to interpret this kind of movement, which was very sudden and very quick. And the second is that the political debate is basically stuck between Movimento 5 Stelle, the Five Stars movement, and Salvini on issues like power struggle, the so-called migration crisis, etc., which did not allow the green issues and climate questions to come out. And this can be said the same, it is more or less the same also in other countries. But that's why you also always have to link the question of climate change with the issue of quality of democracy and rights.
Monica Frazzoni, co-chair of the European Green Party, joining us there from Brussels. Thank you for your time.